Moxie, Greg, and I are riding around the world to raise $100,000 for the nonprofit Girl Up. We're donating 10% of RUFFLY sales to the fundraiser and posting a new episode every week. It's a big dog on two wheels adventure for girls' empowerment. So follow along and please lend your support.
It was when... Gobble, gobble. Just feed.
You're just wait till I finish.
Just enjoy yourself. We're here.
Every time you're talking, I'm eating.
It's like background activity. It'd be nicer.
Chewing.
It would be nicer if you were dancing or something, but chewing, I guess, is a distant second. Two moose sightings, which is pretty spectacular. We haven't seen a rack yet, and the big question that we have is who has the bigger rack? If an Alaskan rack is bigger or smaller than a Canadian rack. Hopefully there will be a moose that wants to show us its rack on both sides of the border. Jessica is protesting that every time I pick up the camera, she's gobbling. We are on the top of the World Highway, just about 20 kilometers or so south of Tok, and then probably 10 or so kilometers up the highway there. And so it's still primarily tarmac at this point, in pretty good shape. And not a lot of pull-offs, not a lot of things going on here. It's not a very frequented highway. Yum, 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 yum. But your best friend when you are looking for wild camping are quarries. And it's fantastic because there's always a road in and a road out, and it's generally in pretty good shape because it's been pounded down. And you've got a flat area, which means the forest is kind of pushed away a little bit. Very good for safety from bears. All she does in GoRUFFLY around the world is feed. And minimal worry of forest fires because your fire... like, there's no forest around it to catch. And fewer mosquitoes, generally, because, again, the forest has been pushed back. So, kind of a scar on the land, but also a very nice thing if you're wild camping.
We're about an hour and a half, probably, outside of Chicken, Alaska. And the next stretch, I think that there is going to be some dirt. Definitely after Chicken or on the way into Chicken or something like that, there's dirt. And so that's going to be some more practicing for me for the Dempster.
Our first stop of the day took us into the town of Chicken, Alaska. And yes, they have a sign that says, "I got laid, Chicken, Alaska." I am parked here, and Jessica is parked all the way over there. Do you think she does that on purpose so that it seems like she's not associated with me? Maybe.
If you like what we're doing, here's how you can support the GoRUFFLY Around the World adventure. You can donate to our Girl Up fundraiser, become a Patreon supporter, purchase RUFFLY gear for your dog and everyone you know, and of course, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much, and now back to the adventure.
While we were in Chicken, Alaska, a group of British motorcycle tourists out of Anchorage on a couple of week tour came in, and that was really nice to meet them. And then we had a very interesting encounter with
Itchy Boots.
Norley of Itchy Boots fame.
The British guys were saying that they stayed at the same hotel as her in Dawson City. And if you're watching Itchy Boots' if you're watching Itchy Boots' videos, you're gonna see that she's like a month behind. And so she doesn't want people to know that she's already made it to Alaska, which was her goal. So that she told the guys at the hotel not to post anything so that people don't realize that she's already made it.
Or she just maybe doesn't want people like quite literally on her track. And the thing is that whenever someone asks you what you're doing and you say I'm riding around the world or I'm doing a big trip on a motorcycle, if they know anything about motorcycling, what do they say?
Do you know itchy boots?
Like itchy boots. The day has been all about the top of the World Highway, and it's pretty spectacular, so not anything...
After Chicken, we are going to be going across the border back into Canada. So it'll be our sort of last stop in the United States, in Alaska today.
So it's all gravel.
Yeah.
Some of it's really hard packed, other of it gets a little bit more sort of loosey-goosey, but really good, zipping along through the hills here.
We just crossed the border into the Yukon again, so in Canada.
The nice factor has gone up like tenfold. Like just, we haven't met anybody other than the border guards, and already like the nice factor is like noticeably different.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Hello. Can I say hi? Hello,
Yeah.
Moxie. We were just admiring your goggles. How's it going? She's like, can I get off now?
She wants to love. Anytime we're stopped. I see the nose shovel. Hi, baby. Oh my goodness. Moxie, cool it.
Yeah, they were really nice. And this road goes along the ridges, not within the canyons. So it's really like exposed up high. So we are feeling this colder weather.
Oh, is your face
Yeah,
so
she needs
itchy?
it rough.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
This is the life we have.
We both have dogs, so we understand. She's like, oh, my whole face is freezing.
So dramatic. Mine is too.
It has gotten cold.
Yeah. And then it's starting to cloud over, which is sucking, and the sun is being hidden by the clouds. I can feel a few little sprinkles coming. It's at Dawson City where the Dempster Highway begins, and that's what our plan is for our next stretch. I think that we won't start it today, but likely we will start it tomorrow if the weather stays really nice.
About 100 kilometers to Dawson City, which is kind of our goal for the day. And that's the thing, you're trading some sweeping winds and exposure on the ridges for beautiful, beautiful, spectacular views. So I guess it's a good trade.
It was good practice doing this part of the top of the World Highway. This stretch after the border is a little bit looser here. The stretch on the Alaska side was quite easy. I think it's also because it's coming to the end of the day, getting a little bit tired. We hadn't had a big lunch, so
yeah, you feel it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get dark until ever. So the day doesn't end, and yet your internal clock still is telling you it'd be kind of nice to be shutting this thing down pretty soon. We have reached Dawson City, and this is the ferry crossing point, and we just missed the ferry, so we're gonna be sitting here waiting for a little bit as it is currently steaming across to the other side, and then we'll pick people up and steam over here, and then pick us up and steam over there.
Just so you know, on the other side, sometimes we get a sandbar on the left side, and then push one up to the side.
supposedly there's a sandbar, so when they dock on the left side, that it can cause you to jolt to push the bikes this way, so we're just gonna have to brace them. So.
We lost an hour crossing from Alaska into the Yukon, which means it's going on, what, 8 o'clock now? And yet it is bright sunshine and actually beautiful because we've come down out of the mountains and really to sort of the valley, the lowlands here, where the Yukon River and the Klondike Rivers connect. And this is Dawson City. Yum, 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 yum. Jesse, night before we start the Dempster Highway up to the Arctic Ocean, what is the dinner of champions?
Pizza.
You got it.
This morning we are starting off for the Dempster Highway. I'm a little anxious, I have to admit, but at least the weather has been really nice for the past few days, so I imagine that it's going to be very dry.
Now those wet paws become muddy paws, and then the muddy paws become mud in our tent.
Yes, that's going to cause dust, but at least it's not going to be mud, which is what I'm really concerned about, especially after that wipeout that we had in Oregon on the way to the Painted Hills.
You need to be careful about mud on any dirt roads out that way, because if it's kind of a red clayish soil, that stuff just turns to grease when it's wet.
There was just mud. I hit it wrong, this way, and then down, and it was a hard fall. That's the type of thing that I don't want to happen, but I think with having nice dry gravel, it'll really do well. The other good thing is that I've got the Dunlop Trail Max Mission on my front and my back. I've been riding it now for, I don't know, 500 miles. They seem to really grab hold. You can feel it. We did the top of the world highway yesterday, and there were some gravel sections as well with some loose gravel, which is what I always get concerned about. And it was fine. It grabbed it and we were able to continue. So it does leave me with more confidence than before.
We are packed up and ready to head out on the Dempster up to Tuktoyaktuk. But first, we have to unload a few things.
We've offloaded a lot of stuff from the bikes, so at least our bikes are now going to be lighter, even though I still have Moxie's 75-pound bulk on the back. But a lighter is better in any case.
We're going and coming, so the best thing we can do is to leave a few things behind that we just don't need.
And now we're going to head off. We're going to fill up our Giant Loop Armadillo gas bags and head off. Greg is filling up our Giant Loop Armadillo gas bags. They're 2 gallons each, and that should be enough to get us there. And then by Eagle Plains we'll be able to get more gas.
Hi.
Hi.
That's your dog. I have to make a picture.
Of course, of course.
We are all set to head up the Dempster. We have gas bags full, we have food, we have water, we have a dog, we have jerky for the dog just in case, and now we have a celebratory cigar or a take out
Better luck next time.
Take out the sting of failure cigar, whichever it needs to be. Which means there's nothing left to do but get on with the getting on of it.
Greg is just putting in a little bit here so that we are topped off and ready to go to the Arctic Ocean.
And we got to do that as soon as we can, because the more people that come, the more selfies and the more dogs, and then we run into issues.
I'm anxious, but it's going to be great.
We have started the Dempster. The very first thing we did was cross the river over like a wooden plank bridge, which was awesome. And then within about 30 seconds, we got to this with a sign that says, wait for pilot car, approximate wait time, wait for it, 30 minutes. So the adventure has begun.
We did the first probably 40 miles worth of the Dempster, and for the most part it was pretty easy. I don't want to jinx it, but we know that this stretch that goes up to Eagle Plains from Dawson City is the easier part. And most of it is like this, like there are patches that have some gravel, but there's like always like a stretch that's nice and solid. So it's not like we're riding in really deep gravel. The worst part was the construction at the very beginning of the Dempster, where the truck had come by and put water down so there wasn't so much dust, but then it causes it to get like wet and slippery. But that was really the only tough section. So for the first 40 miles, we've been doing great. Laguna is gonna need a bath when we finish with the Dempster. All of this dirt is actually from the construction zones. The road itself is really dry, except when they put the tanker that has all of the water onto the dirt. So it's funny, you see the riders that are coming back down after doing the Dempster, and they're covered in dirt, just like this. So I imagine they're gonna need a pretty good bath.
One of your concerns about the Dempster and all the gravel was going to be the rocks getting kicked up at Moxie's snout.
So I've been keeping an eye on her. I try not to ride anywhere close to the vehicle in front of us so that nothing kicks up at us. And she's still really protected behind me, even when I'm standing. You can see that she sort of like tucks in behind me, so nothing is getting her. Her rec specs look perfectly clear, so nothing has hit them.
You're the one that wanted to bring her on this. Gotta keep her, feed the beast.
So I'm just gonna keep a good eye and just make sure that when we do get into anything that is a little deeper or looser, that I don't go too fast that it could potentially kick something up. But so far, so good.
I can see you coming up to my table, all dressed up and nowhere else to go. Got your swag on worse than Clark Gable. Can't tell you how good it feels to tell you no.
So we finally started the Dempster. This has been what this whole trip has been leading towards. This has been the major challenge that I had set for us and that I really wanted to reach. And we finally got it started, but not without a delay, obviously. And so you saw that we got stuck at the pilot car. We were waiting for it. It was like a 30-minute wait. And that like killed me a little bit. You know, when I finally decide to do something, like I'm all in, I'm ready to go. Like it takes me a long time to get to that point, but once I have said yes, like I just want to do it. Like I don't want anything else to stand in my way. And of course, like we had to get that roadblock right when we started it. Like we rode maybe 5 minutes and then there was that 30-minute wait. Got off the bike, dismounted Moxie. We were waiting there on the side of the road. And during all that time, I had to sit with that discomfort and that anxiety because I wasn't prepared for it. I was sort of ready to just get through it and get moving on it and get it done, you know, like I had that mentality. But those 30 minutes that we had to wait, you know, it was the best thing that could have really happened because as much as I was in the right mind frame of I'm doing this is the challenge. I've accepted the challenge and I'm ready to go. I did, because I was anxious, I wanted to get through it faster. I wanted to like get it moving. And by having that 30 minutes of just sitting there and waiting and thinking about it and just sitting in that anxiety and that feeling, it made me it sort of helped reframe the whole situation for me. It made me to take a breath, to sort of take my time and just really value and enjoy the situation that I was in. As much as I was feeling stressed and I was uncomfortable and I wanted to move on, it did make me slow down and sort of start to celebrate already. You know, like, it was a challenge to get to where I got to even have said yes that I was going to do the Dempster. Like, it's a celebration in and of itself. So I'm glad that I had that 30 minutes. And it's funny because we started it, and it was, looking back, that was like the hardest part of the Dempster. And it wasn't hard because of like, the road was bad, yes, because they were doing construction, so they had all the water on it, so there were some muddy parts, and there was newly laid gravel, so there was that. And obviously it was the first sort of stretch that I had done on it, and I've worked it up in my mind that it's going to be this difficult thing. And I had even stopped asking people about the condition of the road before we even started, because it was starting to freak me out even more. So I was like, I don't want to know what you think about it. I don't know where you're coming from and what your experience has been to really inform about what it's going to be like for me as a motorcyclist to do it. So I stopped asking. But so we got on it, and it was difficult, you know. And you saw me there after 40 minutes in, and I was talking about, oh yeah, it was easy. There was the car lanes you could ride, and there was some gravel. I think I was a little bit giddy, you know, like 40 miles in, and I had made it, and I hadn't gone down, and it was pretty smooth sailing except for that first stretch of the construction site. And I think I was feeling it a little bit. Because now looking back, like, I remember, like, it wasn't as easy as what I made it out to be. And that's fine, you know, because I was able to work it out in my mind and actually get through it. And that's a success that I 100% celebrate. And I think that's what I was trying to do at that rest stop there, and feel good about how far I've come. And it's not that I was scared necessarily about falling, or about Moxie on the back and going down. Yeah, I have that concern in my mind. Like, I love my dog. Like, I do not want anything to happen to her. And I'm likely to be fine, but you never know what's going to happen. But that's never really been my concern about why I have anxiety about off-road. I think the anxiety comes more from feeling like, if I do go down, it's going to set me back, and I'm not going to be able to continue. And I mean set me back mentally. You know, I'm worried that if I go down, I'm not going to be able to have that same drive and that same motivation and that same push to continue on, because it took so long to get there. Like, I probably have been digging my heels in this whole time until I finally say yes. And so there's all that energy that goes into that initial part. And then if I do go down, then it's like, then I gotta like start all over it and work myself up to get to the point where I feel good about doing it. So it's a process for me, and I don't know if anybody else feels that way. And when I talk about it, I feel a little silly about it, because it's probably just something that I deal with, one of my own sort of neuroses that I have to get through. But that's what I'm concerned about going down. Yeah, I'm concerned about my bike getting damaged, or myself getting hurt, or potentially Moxie getting hurt. Yes, but is that the forethought in my mind? No, not really. It's that I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to have the capacity to continue, and that I'm not going to have that grit that I need. And that's what I worry about. And the funny thing is, I look back at all of the falls I've had and all of the crashes, and I always get back up. You know, like, I know that I can do it looking at it now, but in the moment, that's the thing that I worry about, that I'm not going to be able to continue. It's something that I'm still working through. We all get stuck somewhere, and that just happens to be mine right now. So hopefully I'll be able to have a bit of a mind shift. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, you probably saw Moxie was like fussing with her goggles. We had a bit of a rec specs fail. And I just wanted to mention that, because I know a lot of you who are interested about riding with your dogs and have seen Moxie with the goggles and really love them, or even for just having them on them when they're riding in the car with you and you have the windows down. One of the things that happens is, if you keep it too loose, they can start sliding down. And you saw in the episode, she's like rubbing to get them off. And I think two things. One, I obviously had them too loose, and that was because I was switching between her wearing them alone and then her wearing them with the ear protection on. When she has the ear protection on, you have to make it wider so that it can fit around her head. but when it's by itself, it needs to be tighter. And sometimes I don't get the adjustments 100% correct and they get a little bit loose. And then what happens is because they're loose, they're shifting around on her face. And that shifting makes her face really itchy. Because you guys have seen, like, the moment that we stop and I take her rec specs off, she needs her face rubbed because her face gets itchy. But having them loose like that and wobbling, it's like a recipe for disaster. Like, she needs to have her face rubbed. It gets really itchy. But having them tighter in place, because they're foam, right? The rim is foam on the inside. Having that nice and tight in place, really, it doesn't cause that irritation that requires her to get her face scratched. So that was it happens once in a while, and you saw it here, and that's why her goggles came off, because they were too loose and she wanted her face rubbed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you really enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to us here on YouTube and at GoRUFFLY for Facebook and Instagram. And if you love our videos and you want to find a way to support us, you can always go over to our Patreon page, and that's where we've got some additional content, some other videos, some live videos. We've got some blogs as well, and that's where you can get some additional content for us for a donation towards keeping us going and keeping this video series alive and thriving. So head on over to Patreon to give your support. We would really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.